Well, good morning, folks. Lester here. And this morning on a live video, we captured a moment that I think had jaws dropping all around the country and even the world. What we all saw is what I think we can refer to as a changing of the guard. Our herd bull, Tex, who has been with us longer than you guys have, I would say 10 years or so. Today we saw him yield to Waylon and ended up choosing to leave the herd, head down. Waylon claiming the herd for himself, and our beloved Tex walked himself, actually ran himself up to the bullpen to be alone. It was a sad moment to watch that happen to Tex, but also reflective of what so many of us, especially those of us who are getting older, have seen in our own lives. Someone younger and better looking, stronger in this case, comes by and claims the herd, or in our cases, claims a partner, claims a loved one. And so join me today as we're going to delve deeper into this and talk a little bit about the implications and feel the emotions with me as we try to figure out if Waylon here is in fact the new leader of our Longhorns. It's going to be a tough one. Friends, this video may have been years in the making. What's happened is, at some point overnight, Waylon, who is our 4-year-old registered Longhorn bull, has somehow taken the top spot as herd bull away from Tex, who's been our herd bull for the last 7 years. Let's get a little bit closer, shall we? Waylon's playing barrel right now in the pond. He's literally swimming around in the pond with his barrel, which is cute. This morning we were recording a live video, and in that video we noticed that Tex was way off by himself. He was walking along the far tree line, separated from the herd. And whenever I saw that, I took the audience who was watching with me out to the pasture to check on him. And what we noticed right away is that Tex looked to be quite distraught. He looked out of his element. He was hanging out along the far tree line, way over in that direction, whereas all of the herd of Longhorn were over here by the pond with Waylon. As soon as Tex saw me, he sort of came towards me, hoping that I could somehow, I don't know, find a way to help. And being as I had left the gate open that went up into the yard pasture, Tex went ahead and walked through that gate and then began to run. You heard me right, he began to run towards the bullpen pasture. Now, the bullpen pasture is a separated 10-acre pasture where I normally keep my bulls when we do not want them breeding. That's a separation pen. And Tex actually ran to the bullpen pasture. I have videos that I'll screen record from the live to show you. Tex, what's wrong? He's walking with an Tex? Tex, what are you doing? What's he doing? What's he doing? What's wrong with him? Why is he choosing to leave the herd? Why is he choosing to leave the herd? That's my question, friends. Answer, help me. Look at him. He's purposely running away from his herd. What could have happened to make him want to be alone? And he's going up to the front bullpen pasture on his own. Friends, I am baffled. I'm completely torn. He's not trying to go down the road. He's trying to go into the bullpen pasture. My heart breaks for him, and I don't know what's wrong. He went into the bullpen pasture on his own, leaving the entire herd out here out back with Waylon. Since then, I've noticed Waylon doing all kinds of bullish type behavior. He's over here now wrestling with Chucky Poo. He's walking along to every one of the females, letting them know that he's, in fact, in charge. Things that he would never do last year when Tex was here with him. And I do believe that what we're witnessing here is a changing of the guard. It's sad to talk about, but every man has seen it happen. Every human man, even. Guys, here I am in my 50s, and I can sit here and remember back to a different Lester in his 20s, and then in my 30s, and then in my 40s. And as men, it's hard to see sometimes that your body's aging. You know, you have the way that you think is different, the way that you feel is different, the way you perform is different, the way you go through life is different. You don't want to become a man to just sit there and hold hands at church. You want to still be a man, and what makes a man. And I do feel like at some point overnight, last night, Waylon and Tex must have had a typical clacking of the horns, which is what sometimes bulls do. And I think at some point Waylon must have got the upper hand and had Tex yield to him for the first time ever. You heard me right. I do believe that Tex ended up yielding to Waylon, the much younger bull, sometime in the night. And this morning we wake up with the new herd bull, Waylon. So on one hand, a lot of people who love Waylon can be very proud of Waylon for claiming a spot. On the other hand, though, those who've been supporters of Tex and who have been here from the beginning, because we had Tex before we had you guys, remember? We had Tex before we had social media. That would make Tex, I'm gonna guess and say about 9 or 10 years old. But yeah, I do believe that we have just witnessed a changing of the guard. Let's go by and have a peek at Tex. everybody. So my number one concern is to make sure that he's okay. And I'm looking at his eyes. He doesn't have anything. He's not being gouged in the eye area. I don't see any obvious wounds. There's no puncture marks. He's not bleeding. Guys, I just think that he got beat. I think that he was surprised at the strength that Waylon brought. And right now he's feeling a lot of humiliation and, you know, just embarrassed. And Tex has always been a very emotional bull. You guys know he's always displayed lots of emotions. And I think that what he's going through right now is the same thing that a whole lot of us men, and I'm going to even guess a lot of women, humans, actually have to go through at some point. When you realize that there's someone out there who's younger and maybe prettier if you're a woman, or, you know, tougher, stronger, better looking if you're a man, someone who's more charismatic, someone who's, you know, brings a whole lot more energy to the party, if you know what I mean. Some all-nighters. All right. I think that you get the idea. And Tex is finding himself this morning in a spot where many of us have been. And that breaks my heart for him, because we've always known him as the guy. He's always been the man. So next we have to decide, what will we do? What steps will we take? So one of the options on the table, and I apologize for the noise behind me, but we are here on the interstate. One of the options that I have is to go ahead and consider the possibility of having Tex sent over to A&M and having his procedure done, having him into a steer, which we all knew would happen at some point. We did not know it would be this early, but we knew it would happen at some point. And then after he becomes a steer, we would take him and Santana, his beloved, over to Longhorn Lester's, and they could live there in that pasture there in with the hills and the shade, the pond, and live out his days just with his beloved. Being that he would be a steer, there'd be no more babies. We would have the Santana, who's pregnant now, will end up having that baby, who will eventually be brought back over to here. Or we could leave Tex here in this front pasture, the bullpen. We can move a couple of ladies up here with him and just keep he and Waylon separated. But you guys know that we've talked before about we're about ready to start slimming down our herd. And so we don't really need Tex to continue to produce. We're not going to get rid of Tex. Tex, I've told you guys, I've made you this promise, Tex will outlive me. But I do feel bad for him. Well, I look forward to reading your comments on what you think. Guys, just don't forget that in nature, this is what happens. I talked about it this morning on my live, that be it, you know, a pride of lions or a herd of elephants. You know, horses out in, you know, the mountains in Colorado, the wild Mustangs that run free. They have themselves an alpha. They have one who's earned the right to be in charge, the one who has earned the right to have first dibs on mating, first dibs on eating, first dibs on everything. And for as long as you guys have been a part of this channel, Tex has been that guy. He's always gotten first dibs. But now, with whatever's happened last night, well, everything has changed. And I do believe it's a changing of the guard. Tex has decided to yield to a much younger and, I'm guessing, stronger bull in Waylon. So now we have to decide what to do with Tex. Where do we go from here? And that will be very interesting reading. I would also like to hear your thoughts on everything as far as similar situations. Guys, can you remember a time in your life whenever you felt that way? I can. All the time, even at my age now. There's things that I'm limited on what I can do physically. You know, and this not uncommon for us to go into a restaurant and the handsome waiter walks by with his, strong arms and strong chest and big shoulders, and you notice when your partner looks and maybe double takes. And it's not that, it's just normal, y'all. It's just natural. And we're not trying to purposely disrespect our partner, but it's just natural. That's the way life goes, I think. Anyway, changing of the guard, friends. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for loving Tex. Thank you for the emotions that you feel as you see this fella sitting here by himself out in a very large pasture, 10 acres, and he prefers to be all alone. He wants nobody here with him. Hey, buddy.